Here's a job vacancy for you. Financial Transaction Control Analyst. Details of the role include receiving and processing of incoming cash funds and transferring of funds to accounts indicated by our managers. It sounds all right, doesn't it? This was actually a bogus job ad posted by the Bank Santander a couple of years ago to find out how many people would apply for work as a money mule. What on earth is a money mule when he or she is at home? Well, essentially, it's someone who transfers money connected to criminal activity. For the experiment, Santander presented 2,000 British adults with the fake job ad to work for a fictional business called Money Spark. Some people were suspicious, rightly suspicious about the ad. They spotted the typos in it, for example. The ad also had a bogus website link, another telltale sign that something isn't entirely on the level. However, 1 in 3 people said they would definitely apply for the role if they were looking for work. 1 in 4 said they would leave their current job to become an employee at Money Spark. Worse still, when they were told that this was in fact a criminal enterprise assisting with money laundering activity, 7% were still up for it. Overall, only 15% were able to correctly identify that it was a job ad for a money mule. I'm keen to talk about this one today because I've had a press release from UK Finance, the industry body that represents banks, and CFAS, the Fraud Prevention Service. They are warning about the dangers of becoming a money mule after seeing a big rise in criminals who are targeting younger adults in the past year. The latest figures show there were 17,157 cases of suspected money muling activity last year, which involved 21 to 30-year-olds. That's up 5% on a year earlier, and 42% of money mule activity in 2020 involved this age group. While overall reports of money mule activity were down very slightly last year, they are still up by almost a third compared to 2017. The criminals who try to recruit people as money mules often use social media, but they also use jobs websites or phishing emails too. Criminals exploit financial difficulties using these platforms to approach their victims/collaborators with the offer of easy money. I'm not too surprised to see that it's younger adults being increasingly targeted by these criminals. After all, younger people were hardest hit by the job losses and the economic decline prompted by COVID-19. That's likely to make them more susceptible to an offer of easy money for a relatively simple task. How does it actually work? Well, the criminals convince people to provide them with bank details and ask them to transfer funds received to another bank account, but keep some of the cash for themselves. This process assists the criminals with money laundering, making the individual who washes the money through their bank account a money mule. Don't do this. Allowing a bank account to be used for money laundering in this way is a crime, and it can have significant long-term consequences. If you act as a money mule, then you're likely to end up with a criminal record, and do keep in mind the maximum prison sentence for money laundering in the UK is 14 years. You're also likely to have your bank account closed, and you won't be able to open another one. And you won't be able to get credit in the future or even take out a mobile phone contract. As I said, this has significant long-term consequences. Money mules are sometimes unaware that they're breaking the law, assisting with money laundering, but this is serious stuff. The money is often used to facilitate nasty crimes, including terrorism, drug trafficking, or people smuggling. While transferring some money in and out of your bank account might not feel like an especially big deal, there's always some very real human consequences behind the transaction. To find people willing to be money mules, criminals will post adverts on legitimate jobs websites or on social media. They use terms like money transfer agent or local processor, or in the case of that experiment by Santander, a financial transaction control analyst. They might also create fake social media profiles, infiltrating popular online groups or special interest pages to find suitable targets. And they like to post images which show off a luxury lifestyle, all designed to entice young people. There's been a pretty big shift in money mule activity from offline to online. Before the pandemic, criminals would have targeted money mules in person at schools, colleges, or universities as their recruiting grounds. Lockdowns and COVID restrictions mean that social media, jobs websites, and phishing emails are now a more popular option. Where money muling is carried out in person, or even when it's happening via social media, the money mule is often threatened with violence when they say they want to quit the role. We're talking about some seriously vicious people, criminals here. Don't be lulled into a false sense of security because the task of transferring money between accounts feels quite minor. UK Finance and CFAS want fraud and economic crime to be included in the new online safety bill, making online platforms responsible for tackling fraudulent content, including social media posts or job adverts used to recruit people as money mules. Katie Warbeck, Managing Director of Economic Crime at UK Finance, said, "Criminals are cruelly preying on Generation COVID and those struggling to find work at this difficult time by using fake job adverts online to recruit people as money mules. We would urge everyone to remain cautious about any offers of quick and easy money, and remember that if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is." At the same time, online platforms must take swift action to detect and take down content being used to promote money muling activity. Organised criminal gangs use money mules to launder the profits of their devastating crimes, including fraud, drug smuggling, and people trafficking. We all have a duty to stop them. Mike Haley, Chief Executive Officer at CFAS, said, "Allowing your bank account to be used to transfer funds is illegal. Although transferring funds doesn't feel like it's doing any harm, the money you're being asked to move often comes from scams and crimes committed against innocent members of the public." We're now seeing more variations of this type of activity, including mules being asked to buy cryptocurrencies or gift cards to mask the stolen funds, making it even more difficult for organisations to trace this money and return it to victims. Banks now have sophisticated technology to detect mule activity. When mules get caught, they can expect their bank accounts to be closed and face great difficulty in obtaining credit, mobile phones, or loans in the future. It is vital that you keep your bank account to yourself and not be fooled into taking part in this illegal activity. How do you best avoid becoming a money mule? And in this, please do speak to your children as well, as we want to avoid as many of them as possible becoming involved in money muling activity in the future. If you're a parent, look out for children coming home with unexplained purchases or gifts, or even large amounts of cash, which could be the proceeds of crime. In any case, to avoid becoming a money mule, it's essential to do some research into any potential employer, carrying out your own background checks and making sure their contact details are genuine. Never respond to adverts which offer large amounts of money in return for minimal effort. As Katie Warbeck said there, if it seems too good to be true, it usually is. Also be wary about job adverts which feature poor English or feature grammatical errors or spelling mistakes. Finally, never give your bank account details to anyone unless you know them and trust them. It's so important to raise awareness about this. Well, I guess most of us know about the criminality of money laundering, or have at least heard the phrase money laundering. We might not be so familiar with money muling. More of us are more vulnerable as a result of this pandemic, and it's vulnerability on which these criminals prey. If you're desperate for a job and one of these fake jobs comes along, you're that much more likely to go for it. Desperate times lead to desperate action. Where these criminals are offering flexible working, a low number of working hours, perceived career progression or personal development, and a healthy financial reward, you can understand why someone who's finding things tough financially might consider going for it. Please do share this video with anyone you know who might be at risk of money muling. Leave it a like too. That helps with the YouTube algorithm to show my videos to more people. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, I'm Martin Bamford, and remember, when it comes to your money, the more you know, the faster it can grow.